Now let's go to the ugly. And this is really where it gets devastating, because the evidence is overwhelming. We've looked at the good, we look at the bad. Let's look at the ugly when it comes to JM's fight against illegal mining. The first one for me is the ultimate measure of success or failure when it comes to the fight against illegal mining is turbidity levels. And you measure turbidity with NTU, that unit is very important, right? And if you look at the turbidity levels as we speak right now, it is heartbreaking indeed. And this for me tells a story in simple terms. In a central region, which I believe it is the epicenter of the Galamsey impact, on August 31st, 2024, the Ghana Water Company issued a statement. And this was a time when John Dramani Mahama was campaigning to be president. So he was an opposition leader. At the time when he was an opposition leader in August last year, August 31st, when the Ghana Water Company issued a statement, the water bodies in the central region, one of them had a turbidity level of 14,000 NTU. And at the time, they had issued a statement because it was alarming. We had not seen that level of turbidity before. And it was threatening the functioning of the waterworks, the treatment plants there. And so they issued a statement, and it really sparked a nationwide outrage. I did this on the show, and it sparked the outrage. We had UTAC joining, we had the Coalition Against Illegal Mining joining. Everybody joined at the time, because to see that something that should be in single digits, worst case scenario 500 NTU, had risen to 14,000 NTU on the average, was unheard of. But guess what? As we speak, as of 9th of September, go to the central region, another river body that feeds the people there is now recording turbidity levels of 94,800 NTU. I mean, the evidence is just so overwhelming that something drastic must happen. And this will link to the point about declaration of emergency. When the president says it's not necessary yet, the data is here to show you that when in opposition, when he was campaigning to lead this country, we have a river body that was 14,000 NTU, and that sparked outrage, protest. Under his watch, in 9 months or less, we have one body, same region, that is 94,800 NTU. And let me show you the evidence. So we've spent some time in the central region over the last week looking at the evidence, examining the impact, talking to people, because we want to understand. We can't sit in the cry and tell the Galamsey story. That is the Erastus effect. So we sent a team there again to go and find the evidence, and they came back with this. So the 94,800 I talked about is for the Ayengsu River. And Ayengsu River is a very important one that serves the Kwenyanko headworks. And this is the document that the Ghana Water Company uses to record the turbidity levels. Focus here, 94,800. And this is as of September 6, 2 weeks ago. 6 September 2025, 94,800 NTU. While in opposition, it was one of the river bodies, not the same one. It was 14,000, right? We're talking about this. And by the way, I want to show you, I was using 14,000 for another river body in the same central region. This is at a time when it used to be just single digits. In fact, it used to be double digits in terms of NTU. One of my colleagues, part of the investigative team that went to the ground, recorded the Ghana Water Company officer who was showing us their log. Watch what she told us.
Turbidity. So back then, we record color 450, 400, and the turbidity was around 30, 33. Yeah. That is some
on average.
20 years on average. You can see we even get 25 for turbidity, 31, 32.
Which was fine.
Which was fine. That one, the system was working well with it. You can see.
26.
So when it gets to like 65, 60, when you record getting to 100, then you start
panicking.
Yes, like, oh, what is going on? Maximally, you can see the 50s, 60s.
Now what is
You can
happening?
see 18, 19, 21.
So now currently what is
You
happening?
can see raw water. We recorded 8. At times you could get to even 5
Wow.
for turbidity. And color, you can see 100. And then now we are recording color over 300,000. This is on the 6th of September. On the 6th of September, yeah. So the turbidity, they recorded 94,800.
And the normal should be around what?
You can see it, like 50. Yes, like 50. So even if it has gone so bad, like 500, it's even too much for the system. But now 94,800. Then the color 105,000. Okay, color of about 100, maybe maximum 500, is now 105,000. Okay, so you can see it was written there are no flock formation, therefore no supernatant for analysis.
What does it mean?
After the dosages the person added, after performing the test, it didn't coagulate. It didn't coagulate. The water was so bad, so it couldn't coagulate. So after even leaving it to settle, it didn't settle. So they couldn't get even the spermatants to even record.
When I saw this, I just said, wow. I mean, it leaves you speechless to listen to that Ghana Water officer there just walk us through the evidence. He says, even at the time when it reached 100 NTU, they panicked. And that they can even work with 500. And there was a time when it was 30, 60 NTU. As we speak, after the time my crew visited, and it showed the time and the date, on the 6th of September, they recorded 94,800 NTU. That headworks has now been shut down. It's been shut down. That entire body is just gone, it's dead. Can't be treated. That is what we are talking about. That is just pure evidence there for you. And this is not the only place the problem hit hard. The team also visited the Secretary Himan headworks. And it was fascinating. Watch the video on your screen, and I'll explain to you what is happening. What you see there are officers. This is the intake. This is where the water now enters the treatment plant for it to begin, for the Ghana Water Company to begin treating it. It's so silted with mud that the Ghana Water Company have to hire these boys to use shovel to excavate and to remove the silt. Because if they don't do what you're doing, water will not enter into the plant for treatment. Just watch it. That is where we are as a country tonight. That the Ghana Water Company is now employing men, young men in the communities, and this specifically is the Secretary Himan headworks. The intake into the plant is so silted as a result of Galamsey that they are now deploying shovels to scoop out the sand. And that's the headwork, that's the intake. So that the water now can just enter the plant for it to be treated. That is the story of illegal mining. That's it. Young men there. You see them there. They're using shovel. That's the intake. That's where the water simply enters the plant for treatment. They have to use shovel, scoop out. Because if they don't, you're not getting water to drink. The water ain't coming in because of illegal mining. So basically, the evidence is there, overwhelming. And as far as the headworks I talked about in Kwenyanko, which has been talked about quite often, the minister, the Central Regional Minister, told me on Newsnight when this happened, the night the president addressed the media, I spoke to him, and he told us that 10 districts have been affected. 10 districts have been affected because of the shutdown. And there's something that he said that was fascinating. He says he needs the state of emergency because he's the chair of the Security Council there. He needs that so that it will help him fight the Galamsey menace more effectively, more efficiently. I asked him that question. He said he will back it. because of what we've seen there. This is Central Regional Minister. Because of the videos I showed, he's seen it, he was there. And he's so heartbroken, he needs to fight this, he needs a state of emergency. He backed it. The man on the ground backed it. And if you look at the average water quality index, the dip is quite significant indeed. So that's the story. And this links to the subject of whether or not to declare a state of emergency. Having showed you this evidence, you have to come to the conclusion that something must change about the fight. We can't be doing the same things and expect different results. We cannot. Yes, there have been some good done in the last 9 months, as I've shown, but the evidence is overwhelming. The Central Regional Minister, whose jurisdiction is bearing the brunt, says, I need a state of emergency to fight it. But the president says he's reluctant. He told us that himself. He says, I have been reluctant to implement the state of emergency. How can you be reluctant to implement something when your own minister on the ground says, I need that to fight, to win, empower me, give me the state of emergency? The president says, I'm reluctant. But the president's reason for being reluctant is that he says, we have not exhausted the powers we have. I have without a state of emergency. So he believes, we have to exhaust the other measures. But everything has been tried. Try something new. He says also that he doesn't believe that it's necessary at this stage. You can't say that when we've seen the evidence that they showed you. Right? His own people, in fact, the Environmental Authority boss, Dr. Kluche, Professor Kluche, also says the right thing to do, one time he says, state of emergency, we need it. So that clearly is one of the ugly bits. Another ugly bit for me and for the team is the withdrawal of the IGP's men who were there out there fighting Galamsey and doing the job on the ground. The president gave us a reason the last time. He said one of the reasons why they pulled them off is that we called off the task force because they were not coordinating with NIMOS, so they can't tell who is licensed or not. I mean, this is difficult to accept because it's very simple. The matter of license or unlicensed is a matter of fact because the Minerals Commission is the repository of data of who has been licensed or not. All you needed to do if you had really had this concern was to say, Minerals Commission CEO, hand the list of those who have been licensed to the police team. So when they go, they check, show me your documents. If not, crack down. But you do not withdraw them. You do not withdraw them. But he did. And he says the reason that they can't tell the difference. But that is not a problem because we have a state institution that should have the record. So give it to them so they can go and find the people. So that they are not worrying those who are legally mining. So that clear withdrawal in no universe should be part of a decision, if indeed the reason is they can tell. So that, again, is an ugly bit. But the problem the president has is that he's created a challenge for himself. Because at the time, remember, part of the reason why we're having a Galamsey challenge is the politics of it, partisan politics. NPP did it, NDC did it. One time he was campaigning in the 2020 elections, before the 2020 elections, he had said that he would give amnesty to those arrested in Galamsey operations right across the country. And last year, when doing a campaign, I asked Judge Bawa Mukhtar, the president stand by it. He says, yes, the president stands by it. But he's created this problem because once you've set this, the time you were an opposition leader, if you come into power, how can you crack down on these same Galamseyers who, when he had campaigned before, to say you grant them amnesty? That is a problem that the president had created for himself, unfortunately. But he has a different mandate now. He has nothing to worry about because he's just unprecedented mandate. People just want action on the matter. Another ugly bit is, for me, the evidence of the devastation when it comes to health. We've seen the report that was released recently about the metal pollutants in the food and water. It's killing people. And the reason why this is a border, because you have lead, you have mercury, you have arsenic, all in dangerous levels in the food you eat. And my favorite foods are a part of the list. There's fish, there's contomere, and I love it because it's healthy. But we're now being told that the contomere we eat is so much poisoned because of illegal mining that you're just, if you eat that, it's a death sentence almost. Because over time, it builds up, it causes that. You may find the damage done later on, and you have to trace it back. Professor Sampany and co. have already documented this. Tomato. Pepper, tubers, mango, coconut, all of them now have become victims, if you like, of illegal mining. And we are all victims of this. This is data, this is research that has just been released. You cannot dispute the impact of this. And I need to end on this note, because this one is the one that broke all our hearts. And the president was right that they were on their way, the 8 gallant men who died on the helicopter. They were on their way to fight illegal mining. Why? Because they were going to launch an initiative that was supposed to be one of the next, and I mentioned as one of the good steps, right? The launch of that initiative was a good step. And when they were waiting to launch it, to deal with illegal mining, and they died. At the time when they died, there were a few people who said that it was going to be the galvanizing force so that their death will not be in vain, and that the ultimate tribute to them is to win the war against illegal mining. There are many who said that. But as we have now seen, we've buried them. Tragically as it is, we haven't moved. Nothing has really changed. So you also ask the question, so are we going to look on for their death, the sacrifice they make, to be in vain? Because if you win the war, he who's very close to the president, and I want to cite something that the Interior Minister told us on Super Morning Show. He says he actually, Omani told the president in one of their meetings that he put his job on the line, that he will fight the illegal mining and he will win, and that if he fails, he's ready to resign, to leave the job. He should be sacked or he will resign. That is the Interior Minister himself, who sits in cabinet, who make the point in one of the meetings with the president. He made that pledge to the president. So what ultimate tribute can you pay to him than win the war that he was fighting that unfortunately claimed his life? But yet, we haven't seen it yet. And for us, it's one of the uglies that something needs to be done very quickly on this. So yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. My guests are going to weigh in.